Teresa, and this is Kathleen, and we're Singapore's number one
No,
inter-able.
my god. Hey, welcome to Kopi Ono with TG and Kath. I'm Teresa, you can call me TG. This is Kathleen, you can call her Kath.
Before we release our first official video on this YouTube channel, we actually wanted to introduce ourselves as a interracial, interabled queer couple in Singapore, and to also tell you why we decided to kickstart this YouTube channel.
Let's go. Who am I? I was a Paralympian for 20 years before I retired in 2019. I have spina bifida, which basically means I cannot walk. So I use a wheelchair to go around daily. I am Chinese and I've been queer all my life. Spina bifida, really the layman's explanation is that I think at birth the spinal cord did not fuse completely, so then it affected the lower limbs and a whole array of other problems lah. But it's also a range. So for me, I guess I'm quite lucky that I wasn't on the one extreme of the spectrum, you know. So for me, I'm quite mobile, quite independent. I can do most things by myself except walk.
You wheel really fast though.
I do. I mean, I was using crutches for a period of time, you know, just cause it was a little bit more mobile, like I could climb stairs and all that. But then I also found that being on a wheelchair meant that I was faster.
So you swap.
So then I started sitting on a wheelchair more. And I do think that the wheelchair has given me a lot more freedom than, you know, people think lah. You know, people think wheelchair means you are stuck on a wheelchair or you're bound to a wheelchair, but for me it really has given me a lot of freedom lah, way more freedom than if I didn't have it at all. So okay, like labels are for me a funny thing, you know. I don't like the fact that we need labels, but at the same time I think it's also sometimes necessary, especially when people can erase you based on your label lah, you know. So for me, I think being queer is an umbrella term, you know. I don't think the term gay or lesbian really fits that accurately with me, so then queer somehow feels right lah. That's the very vague explanation I can give. Like, it just fits for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I graduated from law school last year, and before law school I was actually teaching art as a freelance art instructor in different schools, you know, from preschool all the way to junior college. And even before that, I actually went to pursue a diploma in early childhood. So childcare teacher, art instructor, law student.
You wear many hats, yeah?
I am a Swiss Army knife.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and then what else?
What else? So in terms of the IIQ label that we have, I think the one that we can really quickly talk about is interabled, right? So I'm actually the able-bodied half in this relationship.
I thought I was the one.
Sure. Help us up that. Yeah, so I'm actually the able-bodied half in this relationship, and it's actually been really, really interesting. Like actually noticing things that I've taken for granted. Yeah, and in terms of the interracial, I am actually biracial. I am actually half Chinese, half Indian. Actually, my mom is Peranakan Chinese, and my dad is Indian.
Obviously.
Okay, and then in terms of the letter Q, right? So I think in terms of the LGBT community, similar to you, I actually don't really find myself able to fit into any of the labels available. Yeah, labels are actually more for other people to understand who we are, rather than for us to actually kind of like see
label ourselves.
Yeah, like label ourselves, and it's not really an identity to me. But I think in terms of like if I were to really pick one specific label, it would actually be bisexual because I've dated men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think like bisexual, and I think like race and biphobia or racism and biphobia are actually two very very important topics, perhaps like
That
for
will
me
come up,
that will actually come up in the next few episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah, so I think as the able-bodied like half in this relationship, it's actually been really eye-opening, because I get to notice a lot of like things around me, things I've actually taken for granted, right? So in terms of like infrastructure, the environment, and it's just been really really frustrating because all of a sudden I'm made more aware at how inaccessible a lot of things are. Right? So like even the first time when we met, I think it just like suddenly hit me because all my senses were kind of like activated, and I was just becoming more aware and observing the environment and seeing how you interact with things, right? The simple thing like a door. To me as an able-bodied person, I already struggled with how heavy the door was. And at the back of my mind I was just thinking, oh shit, like am I allowed to swear?
Sure.
Okay.
Is it gonna be hard for
is it
me?
gonna be hard for you to open the
Yeah.
door given that the momentum, the weight, and your height and so on and so forth, right? And I also was looking at places where, I mean, some of the places where they say that it's accessible but it's actually not, so
So,
like
like,
accessible according to who?
different terms
right?
of what accessibility means to different people lah,
Yeah.
I think like also, I mean for me, because it's something that I've gone through all my life, so maybe it wasn't as it's not something I think about maybe daily or as much in the forefront of my mind lah.
I think it would have been like really hectic if you actually thought about it on a daily basis. You'd just be like so frustrated and you'd probably be depressed and stuff. But I think for me, because this was something that was really really new, so ultimately I became very frustrated, and I was just like, why is this place like that? Like, why is there only one lift like at Raffles Place that gets you out? And even when we came out from the gantry, we actually got out on the wrong side, and we actually had to tap in, walk a little bit further, and then tap out on the other side, and there was only one lift. It was really frustrating.
I mean, there's so many, I guess, so many experiences that we have gone through already.
Not just infrastructure and environment though, like people. Some of the people are like the worst. There's gonna be a rent. So angry.
So it was a Grab, right?
Yeah, it was a Grab, right?
He just arrived, and then I got in the car, and Kev was at the back loading the chair at the back, right?
So I asked him, I was like, it was a huge ass car, automated doors and all that, and
six
seater, and then I say, oh uncle, can you like open the boot?
Yeah.
Then he's like, your wheelchair can fall or not? Then he's like, huh? Fall where? Inside my pocket, is it? But okay, so then I was just like, okay, maybe he thought I needed to dismantle. Then I said, oh, but your boot is really big. Can you just like fold the chairs?
Yeah.
Then he's like, leceh.
I honestly I thought that I heard the wrong thing. Like I was sitting at the back and I was like, did he say leceh? Like, did he actually say that? And then because I know like how how easily frustrated you get, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I was just like, literally when he said leceh, I was like, what? And then I just like lifted the chair up, and then he obviously was really pissed off because he was like slamming the seat and stuff like that. So he
lifted one seat.
He lifted one seat,
right?
yeah. So then after that, I lifted your wheelchair and I parked it in.
Yeah, it fit.
It did.
Yeah, just
and
nice.
it had just nice, but it wasn't touching anything. And he's like, wait, I need to see first. So I was like, see what? I was so frustrated. And then he actually slammed the other seat and then like flipped it up, but he didn't lock it. So it was actually very dangerous as well. Because the seat could have fallen and stuff. Your chair was locked. It was parked nicely.
It was really just nice, and there was nothing like. Obviously, I'm not gonna injure or damage his seats, right? So I mean, it's like these kind of things that are small things that every day happens. Small things happen, and then it all just adds up, right?
No, that's not the funny one though. The funny ones are like when we take the Grab, right? And then the uncle asks, bring a wheelchair.
No, she's carrying me all the way.
She's teleporting.
I'm flying.
Flying.
Like, I mean, it's all this, you know, there's so many different experiences, different stories and stuff like that. But I think what was the thing that prompted this whole YouTube channel was planning for this weekend, right?
Yes.
It was so this is planning for Valentine's Day weekend and my birthday, which is 2 days apart. And that is the reason like why we thought we should start this channel lah, right?
Yeah.
But that will be in the next episode, where we talk about how hard it was to plan the
How hard it
weekend.
was for me. It was so frustrating. The
and
kind of people that I had to interact with.
but also like me okay, like me not knowing that the extent of how difficult it was to plan activities like this, because I don't usually do it.
Yeah.
You know, like even if I want to go to restaurants or what, I would search on Google Map and maybe find out whether it's stairs or what. But the extent of all these like different activities, I usually wouldn't. You know, I'm not that adventurous lah. You know, so that will come up in the next episode and we'll talk about it then. But until then, this is TG and Kath. See you in the next episode.
Bye.